From today, 5 people from the same household can dine together at F&B outlets, and restaurants are being reminded to check patrons' SingPass app or NRICs for proof of residence for groups of more than 2. Well, at lunchtime, our photographers spotted a few families of 5 having a meal in a mall, but for the most part, there were more people dining in pairs. Authorities warning that errant individuals will be fined and F&B outlets will be subject to immediate closures if the rules aren't followed. Well, let's find out how one bistro is reacting to today's easing. Joining me now is Anthony Yeoh, chef and owner of Summerhill in Clemency. Welcome to The Big Story, Anthony. So how was today's lunch service? How did your staff check that patrons, they came from the same household?
So easiest way, of course, is to check everyone's IC. So far, there hasn't been any issue with that, mostly because it's families with young children. I think we're taking the cue from what Lawrence Wong said during the press conference, which is, usually with families with young kids, you can kind of safely assume that they're from the same household. So
Yes.
that hasn't really been an issue yet.
And are you expecting more people that it may not be as clear that they're from the same household, that these groups will come in over the weekend?
Yes, so that's where it kind of gets a bit tricky when you already have longer process than is normal to check people in with trace together and checking their vaccination status. Now there's another step. It's almost like going through immigration or like passport control now, as well as seating the guests. So I think that's going to pose new challenges, probably some things that we haven't expected or experienced before, which we come to kind of expect over the past year and a half to try and roll with the punches, but it does get
Mm,
also a bit tiring for us.
I'm sure. So on that, how have the last few months been for you and Summerhill, coping with the constant changes? And now that dining rules have been eased, how do you see the rest of your year panning out?
Well, we're hoping that the ease more, because really what's going to help us improve from what the past few months have been is when we can have groups of 5 or hopefully groups of 8 or more who are not from the same household, because that same household thing still is a big restriction on people celebrating birthdays, or friends just being able to get together on a Friday night on the weekends, which is when restaurants make most of their money, and we haven't been able to experience those kinds of sales and get that kind of business back at all for the past few months. Even when restrictions have been eased, there's a sense that it's very tentative. So there isn't that rush to go out and eat anymore. I think there's a sense of fatigue about it as well. So I'm really, really hoping that if restrictions do ease properly and in a way that everyone can enjoy the festive period, which, as everyone knows, is the peak period for restaurants. That's when we're all hoping to at least recoup some of the losses that we've made through the year.